Alright, so my heat gun died, so I'm going to be using the stovetop for the rest of this video. So basically what you want to do is just heat up the handle section until it becomes soft. So I'm just going to heat this gently until it puffs back, and then I'll shake it. Alright, so here you go. It's nice and pliable now. So what you want to do is, with a cloth or a heat resistant pad, you want to apply pressure sideways. So I'm going to go do that, let it cool, and I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, here's the handle. So just so that it's got a nice grip to it, and that you reduce the width of the handle so that the arrow doesn't have to go around as much handle. So now that we've got this, what we're going to do is heat up till your 6-inch mark here, and then we're going to insert our siyahs. So I just need to heat this whole thing up until this 6-inch area is hot, plus a little bit more, just so that you can drive this whole thing into it. Let's go do that. So I'm just passing this over the stovetop until it gets warm enough and it puffs up. Alright, so now that it's completely puffed up to the 6-inch mark, you're going to take your siyah, you're going to make sure that it'll line up right. Heat it up just a little bit. Make sure that you've got it lined up with the rest of the bow, and then you just want to drive it in. Okay, so now that you've pressed it in all the way, you want to look at it and make sure that, first off, you want this lower portion here to be in line with the rest of this. So you might have to go back and heat it up so that you can press the pipe forward. You also want to heat the whole thing up, because what we're going to do is actually press the belly and back sides of the bow onto the siyah. We also want to take this time to make sure that the siyah is on straight and it's lining up with the rest of the bow. So you just take it with a towel, flex it, and then you also want to press the back and the belly against the siyah. This doesn't have to be perfect right now, because when we grind away the PVC and we glue this together, then it'll be a little easier to work with once we get it to that point. Alright, so now that it's like that, the next step is to cut this away. So first I'm going to do the other side, and then we're going to start cutting these away and lining everything up. Okay, so now that you've got both siyahs and they'll pretty much line up, so what we're going to do is we're going to grind away the outside of the pipe on both sides. What we're basically doing is just taking away the outside edges. Now we don't want to bring this all the way down to the level of the wood, because what we're going to be doing is, once these two sides are free, we're going to reheat them up and move them out of the way so we can get some glue in here, and then we're going to push everything together and clamp it and wrap it and keep it all together so that it will laminate nicely. Once the glue sets, then we can go and grind everything flush. Until then, you want some space on the outsides. We just need to separate the back and the belly so that we can work with them. So I'm going to grind this real quick and I'm going to show you what that looks like when it's done. So here's one siyah, here's the other one. So you can see, well, this one I already kind of ground this off. But right now you can easily take this off and move it around. So we're going to do kind of a two-step thing here. First thing we're going to do is heat this up. Press these bottom portions down because you don't want to grind all of this off. You need about 2 inches of support of pipe on the bottom here to hold the siyah in and make sure it doesn't come out. So what we're going to do is heat this whole section up, make sure we press these sides, and then I'm also going to go ahead and press the back and belly against the siyah here. That way that I get a nice, the two surfaces are very flush with each other. So that once that's done, we can apply our glue and let it set. So here we go. Alright, so what I've done is I heated this area up and actually pressed with a towel as best I can just to make sure that this will lay fairly flush with, the pipe will lay fairly flush with the wood. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and grind all of this down to the wood, and then we're going to apply our glue. One thing to mention is that grinding, if you're using a grinder, releases more, more fumes from the PVC than heating. Gentle heating doesn't burn the pipe, but the friction caused by grinding the pipe actually burns the pipe and releases a lot of that. So you do want to wear a respirator when you're grinding this. You want to make sure that your respirator is approved for organic vapors. You want to be out in a well-ventilated area. So I'm going to grind this, I'll show you what that looks like, and then we're going to glue it.